Hey guys, Andrew here, and I'm doing my review of Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect is one of those series where the sequels just keep on getting better and better. With that said, Mass Effect 3 is the best of the series. BioWare and DA did a phenomenal job at this title in the series, and they fixed any flaws that were present in Mass Effect 2 like scanning planets and probes, and brought back great elements from 1 that were not present in 2, like weapon upgrades and improved health bar for example. Now, Mass Effect is a game where it is an action-adventure, an RPG, and a third-person shooter molded into one great game. In any good third-person shooter, there must be two things present, a cover system and hand-to-hand combat. Mass Effect 2 greatly fixed the cover system in 1, but still had some flaws. Now, vaulting over cover is also included, and a form of jumping is also added. And we also now have an improved system of blind fire, which was in 2, but now it is greatly fixed in 3. Now there aren't any great improvements in hand-to-hand combat-wise, and it's not something that you would see in Splinter Cell or CQC mode in Metal Gear Solid games. But now Shepard has the ability to use his Omni tool and do some devastating effects on enemy combatants, which can drastically change the style of play. This game is also an action-adventure game, which mostly constitutes from the third-person shooter element, but the amazing and gorgeous set pieces really shine in Mass Effect 3, with the simple ideas of just walking around the Citadel and Normandy to the jaw-dropping experiences that you see when Earth is being invaded by the Reapers. Now, to have a successful RPG, you need great voice acting, a phenomenal companion system, and an experience that you will remember for years to come. Mass Effect does a great job in voice acting despite its lower grade in voice actors. Sure, you have Martin Sheen and Raphael Sbarge and Jennifer Hale, but the rest are for the most part nobodies. But even with a lackluster list of voice acting stars in your game, they still put their heart and soul in creating very believable characters. And by the way, the Arbiter achievement is not to high-five Keith David. The companion system is much more fleshed out, and the fact that isn't something as simple as talking to each one of them and doing a 5-minute mission to gain their loyalty so they survive on the ending battle. I mean, I'm already on my 3rd playthrough of the trilogy, and I choose to save Kaidan every single time just because I believe his story is much more interesting than that of Ashley's. And the game with the companion system, where to explore each one of their backstories, it's not to have a better game experience, it's just purely story and story alone. You really don't gain any major benefit from doing these little side missions for them, but it just adds to the overall gaming experience, where you now feel whether these characters die or not. And finally, this game is an experience to remember. It has all been building up to this moment since you started playing the first one. The intensity factor has just been growing bigger and bigger. To this point, I know some people have problems with the ending and think it all doesn't matter, when I can tell you it actually does. A friend and I did everything exactly the same, and we still had some key differences in the final moments. Oh, and spoiler alert. I don't get how people who played through all of these games didn't have an emotional moment in the finale. Whether or not your Shepard died, whether you had tears of sadness or tears of hope in your eyes for your Shepard, whether he died or not, you should still feel some emotional connection to it. I mean, sure, it was a bit rushed to make the release date and everything, but you gotta take that into consideration. Plus, just the ending is just purely phenomenal. I do not see why people have problems with this. And spoilers. The game is a pure masterpiece, and also one of those games where it is, I know, it's also on the PlayStation 3 and Windows, but it is a must-own on the 360. Just like games like Portal 2 and Red Dead Redemption, the game is a must-play on the 360. The others aren't like it, and it's just not on the same thing. And people say that Master Chief or Marcus Phoenix from Halo and Gears of War are the faces of Xbox 360 and are used as marketing tools for them, but I believe that Commander Shepard is the true face of Microsoft and its console. The game is a 10 out of 10. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this game. You can't go wrong in purchasing this game. But I will say this, if you do purchase it and have the full experience, you must play through all of them, or at least have the little comic that you can purchase as DLC for 2. It has a quick 10-minute playthrough and allows you to make all of the key decisions in one. But anyway, you must play through the games like that. There's no other way. Again, the game's 10 out of 10 and a must own. This is Our War of Twilight signing off.